Over 400,000 children in America are in foster care. They are taken away from their homes or given up by their families because of a critical situation at home. In 2014, 39% of children in foster homes were 5 years old or younger, 23% were 6 to 10 years old, 35% were 11 to 18 years old. 51% of these children were reunited with parents or primary caretakers. How many years have you been doing this, and how many kids have come through since then?
My family's been doing foster care for about 6 years, and we've had 27 children since then.
Why did your family start fostering?
Originally, we wanted to do an international adoption, but then that wasn't working out for us. So then we went to an adoption agency. That didn't work out either. So they recommended that we would go through foster care. And that's kind of how we just fell into things, and then we were getting placements from that, so that's where we stayed.
Can you tell me a little bit about your sisters?
So when we first got Emily, it was a little bit of a different situation because Emily's mom voluntarily said that we could have her and that she wanted to have us adopt her right away. So we were going through the adoption process, but then we were told that she just wanted her back. And they were like, well, no, you can't really do that. So we started to have visits with her and her mom. And that was going on like 2 to 3 times a week for about 9 months. And then finally, it was proven that her mom just wasn't going to be able to take care of her. So we were given the okay to go through the adoption process, and that took about 3 months. So we adopted Emily in December of 2013. So it took about a year, but then about a year later, in September 2014, we got a call saying that Emily's mom had had a baby the day before. And they asked us if we wanted to go and pick her up from the hospital. So obviously we said yes, and we went and picked up Bailey when she was 1 day old. And then that process was a little bit quicker because we had already adopted her biological sibling, Emily. So we ended up adopting Bailey in August of 2015.
Each week, nearly 60,000 children in the United States are reported as abused or neglected. There are nearly 900,000 confirmed abuse victims in 2004. About 520,000 of those children end up in foster care each year. 80 to 90% of foster care placements can be traced to substance abuse by a biological parent. What type of mental obstacles have you seen with the children in your home?
So when children come into foster care, it's usually because they're in a situation that isn't okay for them. And it's actually proven that foster children display more signs of post-traumatic stress disorder than actual veterans from the war do. So when children come into a home, they're traumatized because they're taken away from their family. They have none of their belongings. They don't know where they are usually, and they're just kind of confused as to what's happening. So a lot of that is just reassuring them that they're okay and stuff. But there's also things like ADHD, reactive attachment disorder, fetal alcohol spectrum disorder that all affects foster children usually.
Tell me how you connect foster care to the Miss America organization.
So with the Miss America organization, we're all required to choose a platform. So I thought it was pretty obvious to choose the Heart of Foster Care. And what I do with that is I go to different places and I talk about my experiences with foster care and let people know about the facts and maybe talk to them about becoming a foster parent. So I've talked at adoption trainings and other workshops like that. And then also what I'm doing is I have a project called Bags of Hope. And Bags of Hope is the project that I started on my own to give kids something to call their own when they enter a foster home, because usually they're left with nothing and they have no belongings. So what I'm doing is I'm giving them a duffel bag with a homemade tie blanket, a stuffed animal, and a toothbrush, and sometimes a book or anything else that they might need. And what I think that does is it softens their hardness that they've had to go through in their lives, and it lets them know that they're now in a safe place and that they're not going to be hurt.
love you, Emily.
I love you too.